What's your name?
Norman Reed.
What is it?
Norman Reed.
Norman Reed. What? How long have you been living out here?
Well, our house caught on fire, and that was a year and a half ago. So we were outside, and we were living with a friend. Then back outside again. I've been out here since April. My old lady died in July the 1st.
You've been living up there?
Since July, yeah. I mean, since April.
Okay. What are you going to do now that it's getting cold?
I'm hoping to get some help from some agency, you know, to get me in an apartment. After that, I can keep myself clean, go to work someplace, you know, even if it's out of temp service. Better than nothing. But out here, you can't stay clean. You got no soap and water, you got nothing. So
How old are you?
I'm 55. They brought a news team out. They hose everything down, make us take our stuff somewhere else. Then we can bring it back. If it hadn't been for Ken here telling us in advance, they'd have took all of our stuff, you know. We'd have been in a lot worse shape than what we're in now.
Well, let's hold that down. I don't want to obstruct injustice. Let's get that Ken Andrews' ass in.
No, but you help us, you know.
It is.
And you bring us food and
It amazes me, though, that we have a town and a city that is hell-bent on the amount of money that Norman and I saw the city come down here. They must have had, it was probably at least 7, 8 trucks, numerous amounts of city employees and their supervisors, and then social workers, and then
Columbus
the police.
And a news team.
And a news team. If you add up all the man hours, all the costs of those trucks, the rentals and stuff like that,
yeah,
you could have taken everybody out of these bridges, put you in an apartment for 2 or 3 months, paid your deposit, and said, given you an ultimatum. Here, in 2 or 3 months, this apartment's for you. And you know what? 80% of those people would have come out of that thing. There might have been some people that need some help, but it still was better than. And look what they got for all this man hours. I mean, my fellows, more people are back. You know. In fact, I think there's more here under these bridges now. There's one more here that's staying here now than there ever has been. So they actually enhanced it, I think, by cleaning the damn thing up.
Actually, we got 2 more on this side, 1 more on that side, and there's several over on the other bridge.
When you kick people out, and then there's nowhere for them to go.
Right.
That's right. It's absolutely absurd. It's bad money after good money, especially in these sweeps. I mean, Norman, I'm for a clean town. I don't want to live in no pigsty.
No.
But what I'm saying is that if you're going to clean these places up, then have somebody at the top sitting there going like, we only want to do it one time. And the reason we need to clean them up is because we got shelters that are overflowing, and we got no homes for guys like Norman that are down on their luck right now. Yeah. And to speak further in Norman's nature, Norman is the enigma down there. Norma is like the unassigned sheriff. He's the one that looks out after people, doesn't take advantage of them that I know of. I haven't heard a bad word about him.
Nope.
And he kind of looks out for the people down here. So it's in the hierarchy of things, he's actually the mayor or the sheriff underneath this bridge down there. And I'm glad that he's here because he kind of serves a purpose to the people that can't really defend themselves, or have somebody defend for them. Like the city of Columbus, the police isn't going to come down here and defend anybody under this bridge.
Nope.
It's going to be people like Norman, or people say, hey, stop that. That's not fair. That's not right. And he's one of these guys.
Right.
When was the last time that the police came down here?
Probably about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Well, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. That was when they was doing the sweep. But they come down looking for people every now and then who have warrants for arrest.
And not to let the police off the hook, because the police are just doing what they're told to do.
Yeah,
what lately has been happening, and I don't know if Norman will tell you this, but you've got little kids in this neighborhood that probably come from existences where they, in fact, have known someone that's been homeless or needs some housing. And they'll come down here, and I've seen them throw rocks up just to antagonize the people here. Not that Norman and the folks living under this bridge have it any worse, but to make it worse, I've seen little kids come down here and steal from them. I've seen little kids throw rocks at him, call him names. I've seen school buses go by here, taunting people. Like, it's like, where is that coming from? Where is that starting? Where was the time that we feel sorry for a guy that was down on his luck, and we did as a society, did everything we could, try to rectify it. We don't have that anymore.
Speaking of school buses.
Fortunately, no kids on this one. But they'll go by and flip you off, won't they?
There's something wrong with that. It's starting right there. I mean, 10 years ago, people would sit there and go, homeless. Well, we're going to pour some money. We're going to pour some attention in that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's 911 or whatever, but we got this like really black heart type of mentality that's taken over, that we don't care about people anymore. And I think that's what's wrong with us, is that, as we get nastier, there's more freeway fighting and, that kind of stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's because we don't let our hearts open up to the people that, that are down their luck right now.
Right.
Now, at 38 or 36 degrees, you don't know the difference, man. It's cold.
It sure is.
It's numbing cold. It's like right now we're pouring coffee in our veins. And it's just, we're freezing. Because we're right down there in the wind tunnel.
Well, your finger's probably stinging like mine is from being out here in this cold. It don't take very long.
But I think that we're going to get Norman out of here. I've known Norman since springtime.
Well, how will that happen, do you think? How could that happen?
To be a single man without a significant income coming in right now. This is the one guy that lives on the outside of the box right now. We can't get him into housing, and I'm real good about getting guys into housing. He's very difficult, and that's not because he's done anything wrong. It's just that he's single, male, white, and it's hard to hell to get him in there with probably some sort of background in the rental thing that's not going to, you're probably not the perfect tenant, right? Or am I putting too much into it? Are you going to have a perfect rental history on you, or do you have any evictions or anything?
No.
Good. All right. Well, that's even
I used to own my own home, just sold it.
Well, then you are good.
I got good credit rating, or did
even
have.
with the fact that he used to own his own home, he still would be difficult in my demographics to place the housing. Even though, knowing him, he'd be a good tenant. I mean, this is the kind of guy, and I come from that business where he would be a great property manager, like living on the land, here in terms of, or instead of paying rent, I would get a guy like this, that I know this much about him, and put him in a apartment building with some chores to do in exchange for his rent. Because he's that type of guy. He's that type of guy that would, watch out.
Why is it so difficult?
One, the availability of housing. Two, the stigma attached to him living, the fact that, Norm lives under a bridge. When people hear that, they automatically erase him as a productive guy. I know him from being down here. That's why I said I can come out and say, this is a guy that, is a good dude, and Lord, if I had the property, he'd be living in one of these places. The landlord would be nuts. But that's just it. A landlord coming down here, seeing Norman living up there, doesn't know Norman the way that I'd seen Norman.
Right.